Sony. You must have watched my video because in that latest state of play, there was not a live service game in sight. Yes, I'm here to talk about the latest state of play from Sony. I'm kind of just going to give my general overview. If you've seen it or if you've kind of heard about it, you know it was well regarded. Probably one of the best state of plays in a while. Makes you think why they can't do this more often with, I don't mean as in frequency, I mean quality. Because it's easy to get it right. Just bring good games that people are interested in, or ones that are undiscovered, like a few that were kind of talked about. But if you watched my last video about Sony last week, very critical of them and their live service, chasing the dragon, basically, for this live service game that they want, that they can latch on to society with and just keep draining that money. But this is what Sony do best. Like, it's not live service, it's single player games. And we saw a lot of single player games in this. The new Kina, I think one of my favourite double A kind of games. Thought the graphics were amazing, the animation, the combat was solid, and I actually thought pretty challenging. But it just lacked the kind of the depth the depth of a AAA game. But it was a good experience. I really enjoyed the little blight or whatever you call them. They were cute, and I'm so excited for another one. It seems like they're ramping it up. If I was hoping, I'm hoping this would be like an Assassin's Creed 1 to Assassin's Creed 2. Like that jump in terms of sequel, like Assassin's Creed and Kena 1 had good ideas, executed well, and Assassin's Creed 2 took it up a notch, and I hope Kena does that as well. There was a variety of different games on show. I'm not going to be able to kind of remind, and I'm not here to kind of go through them. Just kind of pick out the highlights and talk about why this is what Sony should do. Like, I guarantee you have a lot more people interested in the Kena game than that Horizon Hunter Gatherers that was announced last week. And I'm glad they announced that outside of this, because if that had been in it, I'd have been pretty disappointed. We'll then jump to the end of the show where you have the God of War reveals, the remake in God of War 1, 2 and 3. Like, such a synonymous franchise with PlayStation is the God of War. And for someone like me who actually hasn't played the first three, or any of I've only played the kind of reboot, the God of War and God of War Ragnarok, which is insane when you think about it, because I love the God of War, those games, like some of the best games I think that have come out in the last decade. So for me, this is exciting. I do hope they make it as close to what it was. I know it says remake, so I hope they don't go back and do the over the shoulder. I hope they kind of keep the PlayStation 2 style hack and slash. And then you had Sons of Sparta, which is a 2D kind of Metroidvania style game, which released right there and then. Love that Shadow Drop. I've heard good things. Heard it's a nice in and out experience, and it's solid experience. But again, single player games that we're talking about, these franchises that Sony with Kena, they took a risk on a new franchise, but God of War, like, you need that franchise. You need that to kind of keep ticking over, keep reminding people, oh, God of War's still cooking, and from what they hopefully will produce with the remake, it should be that. And then, new Resident Evil. I'm still playing catch up with the Resident Evil franchise, so I won't be playing that. I tried to kind of avoid a lot of it. There was another handful of kind of smaller games in there, and then we get to perhaps the most interesting game, which was Project Windless, I think. Wingless would make sense because you're playing as a giant jacked rooster, and you're taking over battlefields with your giant sword, mowing down hundreds of enemies, and then you're fighting bigger guys, and then you're potentially controlling an army as well. I was just like, what is going on, and when do we get to play this? Because it looked very, very good, and very unique in a sense with the character that you're playing. A giant jacked rooster. I never thought I'd see that on a Sony press conference, but there it was. And again, looks single playery. This is what Sony should do. Just keep kind of churning out, not churning out, that's a bad. Keep focusing on single player games. Like, that is what you do. And there was one more thing I was going to talk about, but it's just escaped me. Probably wasn't that important to talk about anyway. But like, overall feelings towards this state of play, thought it was very, very good. Really enjoyed watching it. It was kind of another game, another single player game, another single player game from different studios within the Sony kind of wheelhouse, but also like your Capcoms or your other third party titles in here. Actually, there was a lot. Konami, well, that was actually Metal Gear and the new Castlevania. Metal Gear Solid 4 or Metal Gear 4 is off the PlayStation 3. It's been released from its shackles from the PlayStation 3. I played that game so many times. I must have completed it at least 6 times, which is nuts when you think about how long that game is. I used to love replaying it. I don't know why. Try to find like new tricks and that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Basically, overall, Sony went on you last week, but this week you do deserve some credit for showing some good games, some good single player games. Underline, highlight, bold that part, because that's what you should focus on. And yeah, kind of get me excited for some of these games, which I haven't really made, and I'm going to do a gaming video after this. Just kind of talking about my gaming habits now that I'm a fully grown adult. But that's another video. Anyway, well done, Sony. I think you've not redeemed yourself, but you're taking a step in the correct direction by focusing on that single player market that you should focus on, because you can't do live service. Anyway, what do you think? Do you agree with all that I have said? You think it was a good state of play? I mean, it was objectively a good state of play, but what was your highlight? Let's talk about that. What was your highlight of the state of play? Down in the comments below. And with all that being said, all it says to say is any thoughts, comments, general hostile remarks, leave them below. Thank you very much. Bye bye.